Hello and welcome back to the Service Ducks. We are live. Please do not swear. Yes, so this is a episode 16 now. And we'll be talking about a little bit more that we've been talking about recently, actually, around working from home. We know a lot of people do work from home. We talked about meetings recently. This one's all about how do you actually stay productive working from home? What are your strategies? Are you actually more productive working from home compared to being in the office? So yes, so we'll be talking through all those kind of things, the techniques and different things that we do from home. We'll be discussing what we do as obviously ServiceNow architects and developers, what we do working from home, and yeah, debating it, seeing what works, what doesn't work. So yeah, but before we dig into that, let's first find out what Russ has been doing in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we've got our 10-minute standard obligatory waffle. So if you want to get to the topic, just skip ahead 10 minutes. Well, yes. Well, the one thing I was going to pick you up on, actually, you said, please do not swear. We can do whatever we like, right?
Well, post pre-watershed or whatever.
Yeah, well,
probably can.
Well, I don't know, because...
Well, when this gets thousands of views in the future, you don't get demonetized.
Well, right. Let me tell you. So, and I write stuff down. See, I come prepared.
Ooh.
So there has been, it's all kind of a plan that we talk about different topics that are kind of planned. One of the recent things I've been interested in, if you listen to last week's episode, is around 80% of us work from home now. And what does that mean? And the whole informal chat stuff, right? So it's like a lot of us spend time, because we're working from home, we spend time in formal meetings, structured meetings where there's some kind of set forth, I can't think of a better phrase, set forth outcome to those meetings, right? And then it comes into the question around, well, what happens to those informal chats? I mean, you and I do this, right? So this is an informal chat. I hope it comes across, but this is an informal chat. It's just a structured informal chat. Anyway, so waffle. Coming off the back of that, I went into the office last week. So I, like most people, 80% of those people work from home. I went into the office. I kind of went in because I hadn't seen a few work colleagues for a few months. And I thought, oh, I'm going to go for a couple of drinks afterwards, do a bit of socializing. But do you know what? I think there's only about 4 of us in, right? But we managed to have, myself and another architect had a conversation for 20 minutes. And it was have you got 5 minutes conversation, which usually turned into 20.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Oh, excuse me. And we had one of those conversations where we managed to answer a question he was debating and one that I was debating within 20 minutes. And it was, if you're interested, it was about @repo. It was about, now we're supposed to be using, we've done another podcast on this, and now we're supposed to be using @repo as opposed to update sets. How do you deliver 2 work streams, so your BAU and your enterprise project work stream, or velocity project work stream, sorry, at the same time without taking someone else's config? How does that work in the real world? So 20 minutes, we managed to bash that out and disprove some stuff. And then I had a number of conversations just outside, perhaps having a beer while having lunch. They're informal, just general chats that for me were so productive. They were so productive. And it was just, I don't know, it's just good fun. So I've been doing that. That was in London. Of course, I got my scooter. In fact, I will. I don't know whether you can see this, right? Oh, actually, Scootergate. So I do this and I send it to the kids. Here you go. Hang on. You can see me. I don't know whether you can see this, right? Let's see if this works.
Go on.
You see me?
There he is. Yeah. Nice.
I do that and I send it to the kids because I am a big child and my kids think it's funny. But that was the day that my children's scooters got stolen from school. Mate, there's been a spate. Those are the first 2 that went. After that, there's been about another 4 that have gone. There's another. So my plan is I'm tempted to go and buy a second-hand scooter, right, for like £5, 10 quid.
Put like a GPS tracker on it.
Yeah, and watch it. Anyway, so yes, I got my scooter in London. We had a couple of beers. This was interesting actually. So the office that I work in downstairs, they've got a kind of swanky bar, and it is quite swanky, right? It's nice. It's got brick walls and wooden floors and everything, right? Quite new age, I would say. I feel quite old when I'm in there. Let's be honest. But it took, and it's kind of a funky bar, and it took from the moment I said, "Can I have 4 pints, please?" to them actually being delivered. Bear in mind, I'd been served was an hour.
1 hour.
To which we get the. And I said, "Is it supposed to be? Have you ever tried a Belgian sour beer where it's sour?
Yeah.
You drink it, right?" And I was like, "Is it supposed to be a sour beer?" No. You know what made me feel really weird, right? Because I tried this beer, and everyone else on the table is me, right? We're all quite old. And we all agreed this is either off or it's a sour beer, right?
Yeah.
It's one of these craft beer things. And I took the pint to the benefits of working from home. So I took the pint to the barman, the bar manager, and I said, "Is this supposed to be sour?" I said, "Try that." Now, what normally happens is the barman takes a sip and goes,
"Oh yeah, I'll pour you a fresh
fair
one."
enough, that's off. No. Yep. This guy went, "Oh no, I can't do that."
What?
And I was like, he then took a, and I thought, oh, he's going to sip it, put the straw in the pint, and he took a straw, dipped it, and nicked the end of the straw. Now I thought, I found this quite amusing, and I discussed with my work colleagues who also found it quite amusing. But I was like, is that what kind of COVID has turned us into, where people can't possibly touch that? Like, come on, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I must admit, I know a few people like that who would be the same, or they'd wear gloves bringing in the shopping when Tesco delivers your home stuff. They're like, right, gloves on.
Still?
Let's leave them a few days to.
Still.
Yeah. Some people really suffer from the anxiety, I think, of potentially catching COVID. Yeah.
And there was one other tale on the train on the way home that I don't know whether I can say it in this podcast, so I'll talk to you about it.
I'll wait for the post watershed time podcast to come.
After watershed, but it was one of the best moments, not of my life, because I'd lead a sad life if that was the case, but it was one of the best moments I've ever seen or heard.
Better than the neighbour falling over in the snow.
It was on a part falling on the float. It was poo related.
Okay, yeah, right. Yeah, I think our audience can resonate with poo related.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about it later. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Been doing more designy based stuff today. Data, table schemas. Data stream. I've been getting involved in data stream actions in Flow.
Oh yeah, the old Flow. Yeah,
playing with those. Expect a YouTube video out. People, keep your eyes out. And the other thing I've been doing, how many I had, mate?
Oh, I got a food. Everyone enjoys your update.
No, they don't. And the other thing I've had is I've had quite a few people on LinkedIn message direct around, let's talk about next gen and how we bridge that.
Okay.
I'm a next gen person and I've been trained, and how do I get a job? So I've been having quite a few conversations with different people. I spoke in Florida last week because it's something they're doing and keen on. I've got another couple of calls. I've got one tomorrow, one next week, just trying to find out a bit more about what's going on in that space and how I can help out as much as I can. So that's been quite useful. It's busy, isn't it?
Yeah. So this went, you've obviously opened up on your own Service Nerd website the ability for people to kind of book in these kind of chats.
I have. I've got some Calendly app, which is on my website, which, to be fair, is a WordPress plugin, 2 minutes. And it allows people, we said it, didn't we? It allows people to book like 30-minute slot with me over my lunch hour so we can just chat. And I will say, if anyone's listening and fancies the chat, go for it. But, bear in mind, you are using my lunchtime.
Come with a very structured format. What you want to get.
No.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, let's have an informal chat, but you've got to have this as an agenda. No,
Yeah, it's got to be about me.
yeah, it's all about me. No, the point I was going to make is Google Hangouts and stuff, but I might expand that to other platforms because I have to walk my dog at lunchtime and I have to have a lunch. So I'm quite happy to talk, you know what I mean? As long as people don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't think that's okay. So, whew, that's my update.
Busy. Yeah, busy.
We should have some sound effects. So,
what we do somewhere.
Yeah, no one's interested in you. Let's get to the topic.
Yep. Okay. So today we're talking about...
Come on. Tell us how many meetings you've been in. Let me ask you a question. Right?
Yeah,
how many meetings were you in today?
Last
I'm going to say 6.
You're going to go for 6? All right. Well, I'm telling you, I'm going to go straight to my calendar and I'm going to tell you. Last Thursday. Have you got access to my calendar? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 last Thursday.
I was close. Okay.
Yes.
So that was a bit of fun. So yeah. Anyway, what have you been up to?
I mean, that was majority of the day as well. These aren't like 15 minutes, 30 minutes meetings either. So, you know, by the time you have all the meetings, you've got about an hour left to do stuff. But yeah, what have I been up to? So last week, I was invited to do a tech talk, which was quite interesting. So it was internal to Pound in the Jar, DXC. So it was to the wider DXC practice to talk about ServiceNow. So obviously DXC do a lot more than just ServiceNow. ServiceNow is just one part of their enterprise apps offerings. And we were there to just demonstrate the power of ServiceNow, and I had a nice little section around low code and AI, which is definitely the area which I'm trying to kind of pigeonhole myself into a little bit more, to demonstrating the abilities and capabilities of that.
2 comments to make.
2 comments. Go. Yeah, we can reuse that.
Episode. Yeah, we've already used that.
Oh, so that's vetoed now, is it? Pigeonhole is vetoed.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't use pigeonhole. But in terms of talk and well, basically what I want to know is, did you post a podcast? You had a captive audience there. Did you do it?
I did have a captive audience. I mean, I think there was over 600 there watching.
Loser.
I didn't. I didn't. No, I know. We could have got all them followers on LinkedIn. We're above 300 now. I didn't. But I do push it quite regularly internally. They probably hadn't heard enough of it by now. But
got to get your foot and ram it down the throat.
Yeah, exactly. You're not following, are you? Yeah. No, it was good to be involved in them sort of things, because there's a lot more than just ServiceNow out there. It's about understanding how we can work together, creating more of an enterprise offering, and just showing what we do. It's good because a lot of us are part of partners who are quite big, and a lot of times you can just be siloed in just your ServiceNow thing. But they're opening that up a bit now, which is good.
Was there much, or was it just you talking? Because there's nothing worse.
Well, it was a webinar, so a lot of interactions were through just questions on the chat and things like that. There was a lot of oh, that was really interesting to hear and learn about what you do. But because there wasn't specifically ServiceNow people, at the beginning we did a poll of who's actually heard of ServiceNow, and who's actually had experience with it, and majority of them was yeah, I've heard of it, but I'm not an expert in it.
Well, here's a challenge I set ourselves before the end of the year. It's each of us have to do one of these podcasts on our own to see how difficult it is. Can you imagine that? People actually do that though, don't they? And they just talk. God,
yeah. Yeah, that'd be weird. Anyway, that was fun. That was one thing. And I guess the second thing that happened last week was Sports Day. I think that's a global thing, isn't it? Generally, you get Sports Day at your kids' schools.
The sports tend to be global, yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, but Sports Day specifically, and I think one thing which we all get excited for, and something that we do maybe in the UK only, I don't know, but there's a dad's race. There's a dad's race, there's a mum's race, and you're guaranteed that there's at least one person that's going to fall over. Make a complete.
Or was it you? Please tell me it was you.
It was not
Please.
me. It was not me. Although what's quite interesting that halfway down the little strip, and it was about 100 meters dash, I think it was. It wasn't like a 20-meter thing. This was like 100 meters people were doing, and there was a like little dip in the middle. And there was a few people that came foul of that, but
did people fall over? Did they actually fall over?
Yeah. Full on face plant.
Yes.
It was good.
The
embarrassment levels were brilliant.
Can you imagine if you're the kid and your dad falls over smack in the face? How embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, all right, Dad, don't turn up next time.
Do you remember when your mum did this?
Yeah. Oh. Where did you come then? Did you win?
No. I did really badly. As we know, we do running, but I'd consider myself more of a long distance runner than
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Did you do really badly but on the winner, or did you do it really badly and you just lost?
Well, I didn't get a sticker, so that was annoying. But I did second last. I'm going to come out and say it, second last.
That's all right.
Out of my little group.
You weren't last. Then who was last? The person that fell over on their face.
No. But no, that was fun. That was all right. But no,
sports days. I never get to make it, and I don't think a dance race. To be fair,
they're not.
No, I don't think so. I've never done.
Yeah,
I just win it though. To be fair, I mean, come on, look at me. I'm like some Bolt kind of 40-year-old bloke. Mind you, he's probably about 40 now, isn't he?
My excuse is that the school's quite near a lot of army bases and RAF bases. That they got a lot of dads,
go.
Already way up my excuses coming in. Excuses.
Is it Fairford up by you? Fairford?
No. There's RAF Milden Hall. There's a few. Milden Hall and a few.
Let's carry on. Yeah. So we've established that you ran a race, which is good.
Yeah, I ran a race. I did badly. Yeah. I participated.
That's
well done, me. Yeah.
Come on, let's get back on topic. How long have we spent now talking rubbish?
We spent 17 minutes talking.
Wow!
Gibberish.
Right, come on, we've got 20 minutes. Yeah, I can't even edit this out. It's live.
I know. Right, let me start the topic then. So this is one that obviously we take turns a lot of time to choose a topic, and we're on the same theme as home working and mental health and all this sort of thing, and productivity is what we're talking about. So it's about being able to master the art of remote working, but looking into those strategies and techniques they use to stay in productive from home. But I guess this is my first kind of leading question into this, is that do you feel that you are actually more productive working from home compared to when you were in the office?
Yes.
Let's move on. Well, let's just delve into why.
Is that it? Yeah.
No, because
today's podcast.
Frank, emailing to talk at the time. Yeah, no. So essentially the facts actually back that up. So I'll be doing a little bit of delving into facts and things, and so according to Harvard or Stanford or one of those,
you've done some research. No, this is what's happened. You've done some research, and you've orchestrated the topic of the podcast to be around your and go. According to recent research, I know your game.
For the LinkedIn post, you mean? Afterwards. No, I mean, it backs up what you've been saying, to be honest, because it is apparently 13% more productive compared to being in the office. I think in the office, there's always I've already talked about it, like the informal chats. There's always people that's going to come up and having more informal chats at work because they're suddenly not sitting in your office with you at home to then just annoy you. But there are distractions from home as well. And basically, I've been asking a few different people what they've been doing to try and, maximize their day. Whether there's distractions, it could be your mobile phone, could be, your other half or your children that keeps coming in, or your dog that you have to let in every few minutes.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just to kind of discuss that and see what you do, and see what I do, and see what everyone else does, just to kind of maximize the productivity working from home.
So for me, this topic's really quite simple. Am I more productive at home than if I was in an office? Okay. Maybe it's not simple, right? Am I getting more work done at home than I'm in the office? Absolutely, 100%, hands have done. Because I can zone out, I can stick my music on, I can just crack on, right?
Yeah.
Am I more productive for everyone else? I don't know, maybe not, right? Because those, again, that 20-minute conversation that I had with someone in the office, they were probably more productive because it allowed them to answer a question that lasted a couple of weeks.
Exactly. The blockers.
So in that kind of sense, maybe for other people at the level that we're at, I mean, you're a I'm a bit of a mentor, I guess, and a lead dev. If we were all in one room in the office, it may be more productive as a team, but as a personal individual, I'm fine. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, that's Diet Coke. Let's have another Diet Coke moment. Are available. But at home, it's quite easy for me. The only thing that distracts me is, I mean, the dog's quite old now, so she keeps.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't get. And you know, God, the amount of delivery drivers. Oh, ringing the doorbell. Bing, 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 bing. That's an annoyance.
Yeah.
Do I get distracted and go, oh, I'm going to go to the park, or I fancy going down the shop, or I'm going to go make tea for everyone for 3 hours?
Yeah.
Doesn't happen. Just doesn't.
No.
Never.
Yeah.
I'm quite disciplined. So back then, because I get for some people this might be a topic that some people either don't want to discuss or be honest about, right? In terms of, oh yeah, I do nip off and go and get my hair cut for 3 hours or whatever. Right? People might say that. Is it like the demographic of people, right? Is it because you've got different what they call, like you've got Gen Z, Gen X's, and Boomers and everything. Is it different? Do you know what I mean? Do we think different demographic types will have different answers? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And I think it probably depends based on your own circumstances as well. For example, I'm reliant to do the school run. So a lot of the time, there'll be a period of time in the day where
hang on. With the school run. After just coming second to last in the school run.
The school walk.
The school walk. The school amble.
Yeah. So there'll be times where it's, I need to be able to do that. Whereas if it was me back at the office, then potentially that's, it's more of a taboo thing. It's like, whoa, why are you leaving the office? To go and do the school run. It's a lot more flexible these days.
Part-timer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, we're going home early, are we? Yeah. Whereas, it's a different time where, it's a lot more flexible for you to do that. But I think generally you probably end up working a lot more time in the day as compared to when you were at the office. I think because at the office you'd maybe turn up at 9 or something, you go home at 5 or whatever the situation is. At home, I think majority of the time for me anyway, I end up working through a lot of my lunch times, like lunch breaks. There'll be the odd call in the evening where, I feel that it's okay for me to do because, I'm used to working from home.
Working through lunch for me is just a no-go. You need that time. I think, if I'm being honest, before COVID, I always used to work through lunch, always. And I was working from home then, right? After COVID, it's more of a out that hour that I can have to myself, right?
Yeah.
I don't tend to work lunch anymore at all.
Yeah.
So that's me.
Yeah. No, that's definitely something that I need to improve on. There's something that I'd hold my hand up and say I don't do that enough. It makes me then kind of like, take smaller breaks during the day and just find food at that point when I'm hungry, which may not be the best thing for like my own lifestyle and diet. just kind of go down to the fridge, grab a chocolate bar or whatever.
Yeah, that's the bad thing, isn't it? Nibbling or whatever.
Yeah,
So you said you'd asked a bunch of people. It's like I saw your LinkedIn post in terms of productivity and what I guess what concerns people have in terms of working from home. What's the answer you got? And do you think people were being honest with you?
Honestly, I only put it on LinkedIn not too long ago, so there's only so many responses. But it seems to be, when I asked this internally as well, it seemed the same things were coming up, and it was number one was time management in terms of being able to block out time to achieving your kind of goals for the day. I think they find that a lot of the time they're asked to, join ad hoc meetings, or they're pinged during the day, and these things happen. We've gone through this before, but that and both this phone. So having a distraction of your phone, and I don't personally go through it. I kind of ignore my phone unless someone calls me or whatever. What tends to work for them is to lock their phone away unless they need it to, do some kind of multi-factor authentication, sign on for some kind of system. They will tend to lock their phone away to kind of create this kind of vision of just concentrating on their work. So I've got feedback from two particular people, and they're happy for me to name them as well. So Bin and Ryan from DXE, Pound in the Jar. So they got back to me and they told me their techniques for managing their time, basically. And I thought I'd run this by you and see what you think. So Bin came back to me and said that what he does was he blocks his time almost regimentally, like even as granular as 15-minute blocks in his schedule. So he plans out his day all beforehand, and he understands that there is some, unforeseen situations where he needs to jump on calls and things that happen. But generally, it works for him to kind of time block things in his diary, that sort of thing. It's literally the mental effect of having to concentrate on that one task. Then you move to something else, you move to another. For him, he removes distractions, such as having like a Chrome extension to block any of these kind of like procrastination websites and things like that. Keep your phone hidden and on silent. He goes for walks. So he goes for regular walks without headphones.
There is a Japanese theory for product. There's that you should concentrate and work hard for 25 minutes on a particular task, and then
I was going to come to that.
All right. Well, spoil your thunder. You just take a drink. You just do that instead.
So it's the Pomo Focus stuff is what you're talking about. I think.
What?
Pomo Focus. So what that is a Pomodoro technique.
Right, okay.
Which is the 25 minutes, exactly what as you mentioned, the 25 minutes thing of being able to focus on certain tasks in your list for 25 minutes, and then you take a 5-minute break, and then you kind of increase that kind of iteration of doing 25 minutes. So Ryan, that's one of his techniques he uses to concentrate on tasks. He says he doesn't actually make to-do lists too much anymore, but he uses that technique to get things done. So that was really, really interesting. He also, his phone lives in a drawer. I don't think there was too much else he mentioned there. Blocks time out. I
think, is that a generational thing with the phone? Because my phone, I mean, you've seen mine. Mine's on my desk, right? I've shown you a picture before. It doesn't distract me to doing work. I don't see there's nothing on my phone that I wouldn't have on the desktop. Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't. For me, that's
maybe
not
it's a social thing, like social media and like I don't know. That might be the thing then, isn't it? I mean, people just kind of refresh Twitter all the time, and I'm not as reliant on it at all. I tend to stay away from it most of the time.
I think for me, the one thing I do is, in the morning. So I start about 5:15, and that window between then and 9 o'clock is about me making to-do lists for what. But also, I'm a freelancer, right? So until 9 o'clock. Not necessarily every day. There's other stuff I might start, but I time box it and say 9 o'clock's when I start. So everything before 9 is about me, right? So it's either what I've got to achieve that day, and I do I update my socials. So I'll put out posts. I'll think about topics that we're going to discuss. I'll update the website. You know what I mean? It's like today I was looking at Google Analytics for our website and stuff like that. So I'll do that. I posted a short as well this morning, all before 9. I'm good to go. But I don't. Yeah, it's weird. I don't. And maybe it helps having this environment, right? So this is my office. This is my. 1 second. This is my office, and it's my place, right? So I don't tend. No one really bugs me.
Yeah.
No one. Yeah. Everyone knows if that door's shut, I'm working. Leave me alone. So it's. I don't know. What about you? Do you get people bugging in the office? Is that a sacred place for you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd say in terms of my like biggest distractions for me is I kind of need to soundproof this room. So I have a 1-year-old and a 7-year-old. So the 7-year-old's obviously at school, but the 1-year-old you hear all the time, you know, just screaming, and you know she doesn't wander in, but I'm sure in the next year she probably would start to just wander in the office and say, "Hi, Daddy, I'm hungry" or something. But yeah, no, the other halves obviously will take care of that most of the time. But it's just noise for me. I prefer in a quiet atmosphere. I don't play music like when I work or anything like that, or put headphones on or anything like that. I prefer just silent and head down and just getting things done.
No, see, I have music on. It just helps me crack on. There's nothing better. It's like today, I looked at my diary and thought, half a day with no meetings, I can just put my music on and I can just crack on with stuff.
Yeah.
Just get it done.
Yeah. And I think for me managing my time, what I tend to do is I'm very, very big on lists. I do everything by lists. So in the morning, similar to you, I mean, I'd write down everything that I plan to achieve for that day, anything that's kind of burning or, things I had to do immediately, and think of like stretch goals. And then I'll just cross them off as I get through them, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I use this app called, which is great for making like task lists, and I just literally tick to stuff off. It's got an AI capability. But yes, absolutely what I do.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind like trying to use some other techniques, like going out for a walk and that sort of thing. I've not tried it. I've always kind of found myself, and maybe this is the taboo thing, that I've always think I'm too busy. I'm too busy to go up and go out for a walk.
Yeah, but that's no, man. I see. I was in the same pre-COVID. It was always a lunch. I was always too busy, and I don't. After COVID, or when I started becoming a freelancer, when I made that mental switch, because they were both at the same time. I started contracting, and the great, you know what I mean, the great unleashing of people from COVID happened at the same time. So I don't know which one it was, but at that time I said, so literally in my calendar, you cannot book between 12 and 1.
Yeah.
And that's my time to walk the dog, to have a wander out on the sofa outside.
Yeah, nice.
Me time.
Yeah.
And I think that helps.
Yeah. So, and I think another thing, if you're so set to like lists and things like that, I think one argument against doing that is if you don't get through everything on your list, then you kind of get that downbeat feeling, I've not been able to get through all these things, or you end up working later just so that you do get through all them things, which is probably not great. So maybe it's a mindset change, isn't it? It's a shift.
No, but it helps, because if you're working with a project manager or engagement manager that kind of understands the importance of, I guess, one in, one out, right? So stuff to do, and you've only got a certain amount of capacity to do it. If you've got more stuff coming in and nothing going out, you're never going to win, right? You're never. It's a case of prioritizing, and I'm covering my face there. It's about prioritizing, but that's part of the PM and EM's job for us to have. You kind of say, well, this is what you've asked me to do. You tell me which order I want to do it.
No, exactly. Yeah. It's just knowing that you've got done what you can during the day. Prioritization is probably the the way forward.
Here is a question to you then. So you fall over when you're running. So you're quite old like me.
I don't
right?
fall
We're
over.
both quite
That wasn't me.
We're both old.
Yes.
I guess the point is we've both been around in the industry a bit. And necessarily just the ServiceNow industry, but working industry of how to delivery experience. So for new people just coming into the industry or people just starting work or whatever, do you see any trends that distract them from work? And if you do, what would you say to them? So you're a mentor, right? Someone said, "Oh, James, I'm trying to do work, but I keep getting distracted by TikTok all the time." What kind of stuff are you saying? How are you weeding that out? You know what I mean? Are people being on? How does it work?
Honestly, so from those that I mentor, so some of them are junior or grad sort of level as well.
Yeah.
I don't hear too much of that in terms of this is what's being like distracting me sort of thing. I tell you what it is mostly it's balance with knowing what is important, I guess, on the day. So it could well be that they're on a project which is full time and there's no time to do things like learning or training or fitting in what's coming up in the next release, and they'll end up just going through project time and not concentrating on other things that are just as important. So it's a lot about just managing time is probably the biggest challenge, and knowing what to do with it. If you're completely booked out to a customer and you feel that you have to do just that for all the time, maybe that's probably
but are people likely to be honest with you there, right? Because time management has always been, and it always will be, the biggest factor in people not achieving what they're setting out to achieve.
Yeah.
Things that go, well, how come you didn't do that? Well, I just need to manage my time better, or other stuff. And the answer from a manager will be, well, you need better time management. But when you're delving into that, will new people go, yeah, well, I didn't get it achieved because I sat on TikTok for 3 hours and then I decided to go and get my hair cut for 2. They'll never say that. Never.
I don't think that, and I don't think that would be the case either, because a lot of the people I've been speaking to are they're incredibly eager for their work and to learn and to pick up bits and pieces. But I think it's more about just understanding how to manage their day more efficiently. And what I do hear is a lot of people will use their evenings and weekends to cram in and things like that, and just while you're young, maybe that's fine and you're happy to do that, and to progress your career and things like that, which is great for eagerness and shows that you've got willingness to do.
So here's another question, right? Because I like this kind of topic, right? It's not necessarily technical; it's subjective. And if we relate this back to a topic that I've been really interested in recently, which is about the next gen people coming out. You've been through the course, right? The ServiceNow, I'm going to train you up course and send you out into the ether. Yeah, you've been through that. You've learned about the ITSM world, that this is a flow, this is a business rule, which you're not supposed to do. This is an incident, this is change, whatever. You've learned about. Well, now go find a job. So it's kind of you've got those ServiceNow skills, but I don't want to say time management, but is working more productively at home and one you should look for when employing someone, and 2, how do you train that? Because other than saying, oh, you're not being as productive as you can do, you need to manage your time better. How do you train it? Like ServiceNow, you'd be a mentor and say, this is an if statement. This is a error handling. So how do you? And I
think that's really hard, isn't it? Because I don't think that even fits in with those kind of like core soft skills either, or the kind of generic company training that they get you to do for health and safety, or it's kind of like one of those subjects that's just not talked about how to work from home. It's almost just expected that you should just know, or maybe just kind of garner opinions from your colleagues, say, oh, what do you do? Or asking that question: is it okay if I go for a haircut at lunchtime?
I
Or
think,
is it a taboo?
it's
Yeah.
getting like that though, isn't it? Because I've worked from home for many, many, many years, and it's
Yeah.
probably something I take for granted that I've just learned to do, and it's just normal to me.
Yeah.
But you think about these graduates coming through,
Yeah.
brand new, probably never worked in an office before.
Mm. Mm.
And if
This
they
could be the
have,
only thing
maybe in
they
the last
know.
few years,
Yeah.
it's always been virtual. So it's kind of like it's not normal to them. It's not natural. So maybe there is some kind of specific training that needs to happen
Yeah,
in order
or
to
just
help people
mentorship.
be as productive as they
I
can
think
be.
a lot of it comes to mentorship because you touched on it earlier about a lot of things. These things are kind of personal circumstance and things that maybe people don't want to discuss, and that could be also the reason for not too many responses on the on the LinkedIn, other than me just being rubbish at social media. But it's a personal thing. It might show badly on you if you're opening up to these distractions, and people feel that if they, say that they have to do the school run, that might be marked against them in any way, shape, or form,
Yeah,
or yeah,
interesting one. I mean, I'm just diving into LinkedIn now just to have a check because
yeah,
I posted it as well. And then I'm conscious that we're 41 minutes
yeah,
in. We spent 20 minutes just waffling. We best wrap this up at some point. But let me just check to see if is LinkedIn going to load. So what we're referring to here is James and I kind of primed people with the topic we were discussing
mm,
today, and just trying to figure out what distractions people have at home, and whether they'd be honest about it. And my theory is I don't think people would be. I'm not
yeah,
saying people will deceive, but come on, would you outwardly say, "Yeah, I get distracted all the time"?
yeah, or lack motivation to work from
Yeah,
home.
I don't think people would. It's more of a I just think that's what people do, and we just need to. I don't know. From a recruitment, an employer point of view, you need to learn how to spot it
Yes,
and help people to get past. And from
yeah,
an individual point of view, you also need to learn how to spot it. And it's okay to say, I'm getting distracted. I need some help to manage it. Because the worst thing
yes,
in the world is you're not delivering projects, is you're not delivering your workload because you're getting constantly distracted,
yeah,
or you're not getting it done on time. Because at the end of the day, we're there to do a job, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. There's got to be that kind of happy medium where you do work with your employer to understanding what is acceptable for your employer, as well as what you need to do from home as well, because
Yeah,
they should also understand that if you are working from home, there are some things that you can't avoid. Do you know what I
exactly.
mean? It might be baked into your contract that you are a home worker,
And
in which case,
and let's
yeah,
be fair, right? It goes both ways, isn't it? Working from home is a benefit to the employee because they don't have to pay rent and rates, but it's also a
yeah,
benefit to us, right? It can't be both ways. It can't be, oh, the employee gets it, we don't have to pay any rent, but we expect you to work 9 till 5 and be there all the time. No, it doesn't work like that. You're
yeah,
allowed to be distracted, but at least acknowledge what they are.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, that's for me. So should we wrap this up then?
Yes, I think we should. I think so. We come into this obviously talking about this whole subject of productivity, and we've understood that yeah, absolutely, we're more productive working from home on the most part. There are going to be distractions, and there are going to be things outside of your control with distractions, and we believe that employees are aware of this. I think they're becoming more flexible in terms of what you can and can't do from home. There's lots of techniques out there, like the Pomodoro technique we've discussed around the 25 minutes rule, being able to create lists, being able to, block book your time in your diaries. I think the important kind of message is these sort of things you're going to have to find out for yourself what works in terms of your productivity. It can be very specific to your own individual circumstances, whether you have family, whether you have pets coming in and out all the time. Yeah, I guess that's my kind of summary of this is really you've got to try these different techniques and different things to try and work in your life work sort of balance. Yeah.
And you've missed out. We've also learned that you're quite old, and if you put you in front of a 100-meter dash, you're going to fall over.
Yeah. And that if you do want a free scooter, Russ can give us address in the link.
Yeah, there's someone out there
may or may not be
alone
tracking you.
that's got a black market ring on
Yeah.
scooter mongering. I don't know. Anyway, so I guess that's thanks for wrapping us up there, James. I think that just remains us to say you can go first.
Yep, I've been James.
I've been Russ.
And this has been the Service Ducks.